How many times a day do you speak unkindly to yourself? How many times do you say negative things about yourself? We all do that. And in this episode, we are going to tackle that. Welcome to LadyBoss Unplugged. My name is Molly Richards. I am your host. Let's get this party started. Welcome to LadyBoss Unplugged. This is Molly Richards, your host. I am beyond excited to empower you to overcome life's obstacles, to form new healthy habits, to cultivate a growth mindset, as well as bring in some super cool guests who will share their own kind of magic with you. Oh, did I mention we'll have fun too? Heck yes, we will. Join me for weekly, unfiltered, raw, real, and encouraging conversations that inspire transformative change, that give you the tools to create a positive domino effect in every aspect of your life and just have fun hanging out. Now, let's get unplugged. Okay, so first, before we get this party started, can I just say a quick thank you to everybody who has downloaded our show, who has shared LadyBoss Unplugged with friends or on social, or anyone who's left a review. We are so thankful for you. And I'm having a blast doing this, by the way. So thank you for allowing me to come in and share my message and our message. And I'm just loving it. And I appreciate you so much. Second, I want to just read two quick reviews that we got this week. One of them said, "What a great podcast. What an excellent message for so many women today." I love that. That speaks volumes to me. This podcast is not about me. This podcast is about you and about being real and truthful and sharing positive, awesome, helpful messages. So that really made me light up. So thank you. Another review said, "Saying yes to myself." That was from Coach Casey. Thank you, Coach Casey. Yes, that was referring to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. And I've heard a lot of people that from you guys are telling me that you really liked that message. And so that really made me happy. So thank you, because I really want to just be honest and real with you on this podcast. So today's message really speaks to me, and I hope it will speak to you too. And I decided to do this podcast because I am guilty of doing this myself. So yes, you could hear me and think that I am the most confident, perky person with the perfect life, or if you see me, you're like, she's got it going on. Hello. We are all hot messes. Let me just remind you real quick. Like, even the person who looks completely perfect goes through things, has issues, deals with low self-esteem, has challenges in life. So y'all know that, right? Like, social media is all of our highlight reels. But I definitely am guilty of doing this. So I'm just going to tell you what happened the other day. I left a voicemail for one of my best friends, and I was like, I love voicemails, by the way, voice messages, because I'm not a very fast texter, but I just want people to hear the inflection in my voice. I want to maybe sing them a song, tell them a joke, be silly. And in the morning, I have a very deep man voice, by the way. So I like to scare them a little bit first thing in the morning. But this message, I said, girlfriend, like all my best friends and my sisters, I have 4 of them, and 3 sister-in-laws, everyone's girlfriend to me. So I'm like, girlfriend, I just want to let you know how much I love you. And I am so proud of you. And I told her why. And I was like, I know you said you were going to do this, but you did it. And I'm just so happy for you. Oh my gosh. And I just want to also remind you, I am always here cheering for you. So I went and gave that positive cheer message for my friend. That message, by the way, was wrapped in kindness. That message, those words that I spoke to her, were wrapped in love, compassion, positivity, and what we call in the Lady Boss world, sparkle. And then later that day, I was getting ready to go to the gym, which I had put off for like hours. I was supposed to go to the gym at 8:30 in the morning, and it was like 4:30. So that's 8 hours later. I was like, oh, you're so lazy. You look really fluffy today. You look old. You need Botox. These are the things I'm saying to myself in the mirror, by the way. Or like, why can't you just stick to your plan? Like, you're so lame. Like, basically I was saying these things to myself, and then I caught myself and I was like, what if I said all of those things to my best friend or any human who knew me or who knows me? What if I said that? Can you imagine if I walked up to someone and I said, you look fluffy. You look like you need some Botox. Are you okay, sister? You don't look good. By the way, you're lazy. Like, I would not have any friends. Would you have any friends if you talked to them like that? And so, my question is like, how often do we say negative things to ourselves versus how often do we speak kindness and love and self-love to ourselves? Like, real quick, if you're watching these podcasts are, of course, you could hear me, but we also have these podcasts on YouTube. And so you get to see me. Hi. And just so you know, when I was reading the message to my friend and I was like, I love you. I'm proud of you. I see you. Yes, I'm cheering for you. I'm sitting down. So I sat tall. If I was standing, I'd be standing tall. And then when I was saying the negative things about myself, like, you don't look good, you look tired, like my body language changed. My facial expressions changed. My energy changed. My shoulders went down. I looked sad. And so my question is, how often do we talk to ourselves like this? And what if we actually talk to ourselves like we talk to someone we care about, we love, we appreciate, we are blessed to know? All of those things are you. You are blessed to know you, and you should be speaking kindness to yourself, right? Like, positive self-talk equals self-love. And positive self-talk, ladies, is just one way for us to take care of ourselves. And we should never be bashing ourselves, right? We wouldn't bash our friends. Hopefully we wouldn't bash a stranger. Unfortunately, that goes on in the world, right? In social media and all of that. By the way, people who do that are just sad. Hurt people hurt people. I am a firm believer in that saying. Sad people want to make others sad. Miserable people just want to drag others down with them. Don't let people do that, right? Put your guard up, girls, and just know your worth. But this is what is so crazy. When you speak lovingly to yourself, when you speak kindness to yourself, and you say good things to yourself, true things, by the way, a lot of the things that are negative are untrue. We're just having a bad day. We haven't moved our bodies. We're just having issues, right? Our brains are trying to tell us something different. But when we speak good things to ourselves, we actually can reduce anxiety. So everything that I tend to share in this podcast, and if you know me in life, is like, you don't just take care of your physical health. Yes, I love taking care of my physical health because I know what's good for me and how I want to live long, and I want to see my grandchildren, and I want to feel good, and I want to look sexy for my husband. I want to feel good for myself. But the mental health aspect is humongous to me. And so if we can raise your hand right now. Yeah, even if you're driving your car, keep one hand on the wheel, by the way. I don't care if you're alone in a coffee shop or wherever you are, raise your hand if you want less anxiety. Raise your hand if you want to feel less depressed. Raise your hand if you want to feel happier, more joyful, more confident. Okay, all those things. Then join me and know that the words we speak to ourselves have so much power, so much power. So our words are powerful. And I've taught this to my kids, and I'm literally reteaching this to myself because we tend to forget, right? And words can literally hurt. They can hurt feelings. Words can crush our spirits. Words can break hearts. Have you ever had someone say something to you and you're like, my actual heart is breaking right now? Words can leave scars. They can truly leave scars. And words come in all different forms, right? They come in all different sources. So words can be like insults, right? Just bashing ourselves. That's like verbal abuse, right? When we say negative things to ourselves, like, we wouldn't do that to another person, to our daughter, to our son, to our spouse, to our sister, to our best friend. Why are we doing that to ourselves? Words also come in the forms of criticisms. Oh, you're so fat. Oh, those don't look good on you. Why are we doing that to ourselves? Why are we doing that to ourselves? And words can come in the form of put downs. We should never be putting down another person, definitely not ourselves. And, but often we do this, and some of the most painful things that come out of our mouths, like I've said, out of our mouths, are to ourselves. Like, We have to stop this, right? Let me know, write to me, message me, or if this podcast, you could tell me how you feel. I want to know if I'm alone here. I don't think so. I don't think I'm alone in doing this. But talking to ourselves is just, we have to do it. We have to be more conscious of it and decide to make a change. All of the things we do in our lives are decisions. They aren't just like, well, that's who I am. I've heard that from a lot of people. Well, that's how I was raised. It's like, we can change things. We can make a difference. We can literally, like I've said, change our family tree. We can actually decide to stop doing what we're doing. We can decide to stop certain behaviors, certain habits, and then replace those habits with something that is better for us physically, emotionally, mentally. And many times, tell me, think right now out loud, like say, yes, oh my gosh. Have you ever said things to yourself where you're not good enough? Who do you think you are? Would you say that to a friend? Would you say that to a friend? Or you think to yourself, you're not talented enough. By the way, when they asked me to be the host of this podcast, I definitely had thoughts in my head of, oh gosh, am I good enough to do this? Can I do this? Oh my God. But if a friend told me she had the opportunity to be the host for the Lady Boss podcast, I would be like, girl, go. You're going to rock. You're going to be amazing. And how can I help? Like, I'm going to be over here cheering for you and sharing this. And oh my gosh, this is amazing and wonderful. But when it came to me having the opportunity, I started to go down a slippery slope of what ifs and why can't I? Why shouldn't I? And talking myself out of a dream, a goal. I've wanted to do this for a long time, to just speak life into other women. And here I am. And imagine if I didn't say yes, or I let those negative self-talk, those negative words I was saying to myself, take over, take control and win. Oh my gosh, we can't let that stuff win anymore. But I definitely had moments, you might too, in your life where you're like, I'm not worthy. I'm not smart enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not strong enough. And the bummer is I don't mean to like lay into social media so much, but as we know, it can be pretty toxic, right? So let me just remind you to unfollow the things that trigger you and make you look at yourself negatively and that just make you feel bad. But we tend to use social media as like what we should be or how we should feel or how we should look. We tend to compare ourselves. And when we look at that, we then criticize ourselves. And then we just literally have this inner turmoil. And then we just freeze and stop. And then we actually don't become the best us that we could be, right? It's crazy how powerful all of that is. But I just really always go back to the golden rule. This is one of the first things I learned. I'm pretty sure we learned the golden rule, like, I don't know, kindergarten. So I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but you could find it. You can probably Google it. I'm just kidding. But I've learned that rule many years ago from my mom and then school and church and everything. And it's treat others the way you want to be treated. How do you want to be treated? How do you want to be treated? You want to be treated with love and kindness, positivity. You want to be seen. You want to be appreciated. You want to know that you're worthy. You want to know that you can do anything you put your heart and your energy, your desire into, and all of that. So think about that. Like, how do you want to be treated by others? Treat yourself that way. What words, what things would you want someone to say to you? Say those things to yourself. Okay. Like really. And once you start treating yourself the way that you want other people to treat you, you will stand differently. You will stand taller. You will have a different energy about you when you're like, oh yeah, you start to notice all of that within you. You're like, yeah, I am awesome. Yeah, I can totally do this. I am smart. Like, yes. And those are just words of affirmation to yourself, right? We're going to talk about that in another podcast because that is so important. And teaching that to our children is so important too. But are you actually treating yourself as you treat your friends? Think about that, right? And when you do start treating yourself like you do your girlfriends, your sisters, those that you love, you will have, like I said, a different energy about you. Your face will have more smiles on it. Like you'll be like, yes. You will have more confidence. You will be happier and your overall well-being will be so much better. Like, who doesn't want that, right? And like I said, it's a choice. So will you decide today to be healthier mentally, physically, to be more brave, to notice all the good things about you, that you are powerful, that you are brave, that you are worthy, like seeing all that. And by the way, I don't know what your background is. I don't know what things you were told as a kid. I don't know if you've been through trauma or you have old beliefs or old stories. Ditch those. Right now, if you're like, but that's what I was told I was bad. I was told I was unworthy. I was told I sucked. I was told I could be nothing. All of those things happen to all of us. Like those things that we believe as kids as truth, it is not true. It is not true. Speak truth to yourself. You are worthy. You are wonderful. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. You can make a difference. You have what it takes. You just gotta ditch all those old beliefs and those things that you think are facts. They're not. And you need to have new words placed into you. You need to really seek new truths and you need to say those things to yourself. And you will become that person, by the way. If right now you're like, but I'm not brave, but I'm not confident, say these things. I am brave. I am confident. I am rich. I am thriving. I am talented. I am loving. I am worthy of love. And you speak those things to yourself every day and you will become that person. So that's a question I want to ask right now. Like, who do you want to become? Become her by saying those things to her often. I wouldn't even say like once a day. I would say twice a day, as much as you want. But speak those new words into yourself and you will be a changed woman, I promise. And I speak from experience. I'm working on all of this all the time with you. So I am no better than you. I've been working on myself. I would say when a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, introduced me to personal development and self-help, I would say, let me see, my son is 23, my daughter's 28, but it was when Logan was about 3 or 4. A friend of mine was like, you should read this book. You should listen to this book on CD. Yeah, I don't think we had book on Audible at that time. And we did not have podcasts. I'm dating myself now. You're welcome. But when she said, you should do this, I could have said, no, who do you think you are? But I spoke to her like a friend and I said, oh, okay, I will. And I look up to her. Remember, success leaves clues. If there's someone in your life who you look up to, you want to mirror them, then do what they are doing and you will become like them, always being true to who you are, but you're going to level up. And she said that to me and I really looked up to her. She was successful in her business. She was successful in her body. She was successful in her marriage and her life and as a mom. And I was like, okay, I'll have what she's having. And so anyway, because of all that, I have really worked on myself and I continue to because I have bad days just like we all do, right? This is one thing where I'm like, Molly, how are you just talked really kindly to your best friend? Say those words to yourself. So this, of course, will be a new practice for you. This will be something that you can do every day to create a new habit. And all of a sudden you're out of the habit of saying you suck, you're fluffy, you look old, what is wrong with you, you're lazy, blah, blah, blah. Ditch all that. Replace it with, I see you, you're awesome, you're worthy. I see that you're working hard. Oh my gosh, I noticed this. Okay. Oh my gosh, like, good job, girl. Yeah, you can talk to yourself. It doesn't matter if people look at you and think that you're crazy. You probably already do. So let them think wild things and, just laugh about it. It'll at least give you a laugh. But what they don't know is that you have one up on them and you are working on you and you are becoming the next best version of you. I call this like Molly 2.0. That's it. I'm in my Molly 2.0 stage right now. So what is your 2.0? So I just want to encourage you to have love for yourself, to accept yourself more, have more self-acceptance and give yourself more grace and all of that. And allow yourself to shine and notice that you're shining. Notice that you're making a difference. Notice that you're putting work into yourself. I think about like, it's just everything that we do in our lives, not just like the size of our clothes or this. I'm a former fitness instructor, so I kind of go back to that always. And then I'm like, wait, none of that doesn't matter as much as our self-worth. But we have the power to really, really make a difference. And it starts with our words. So I always like to leave you with something to do and not just hear from me, but take action, because action is where the magic happens. And I want you to be magical. Okay. And so I want you to right now, or you can do this right after the podcast. I want you to get a pad of paper. I know, so old school, and a pen, or you can grab the notes section of your phone or your iPad or laptop, whatever you would like. But I want you to say what you notice about yourself, positive things that you notice about yourself. By the way, I want you to actually take a step back, and you are now looking at yourself. Okay. So you're not you are looking at you. What would you say to yourself? Pretend that you are a friend looking at you. What would you say to you? What do you notice about you? What are you proud of with that woman? What do you love and appreciate about her? Like, this is really, really powerful. So I did this before I came on here and started recording. And I was like, this is weird, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to ask everybody else to do it. And I would never ask something of you that I haven't done before or would not do. And so I wrote this and I was like, oh gosh, this is so hard, because all of a sudden you might be doing this too. I started to feel the word braggadocious. I started to feel like, oh, that's weird. That makes me sound like I'm bragging about myself. That makes me feel uncomfortable saying good things about myself. Like, that is so weird, because I don't want to be like, as I used to say in like high school, stuck up. Did you ever use that word in high school? Or conceited, right? But when you do this as you, looking at you from a friend's point of view, it's a little bit easier to do. So take a step back, looking at you, but maybe you don't look at your face. You just think about you. What are you proud of? So I did this and I was like, okay, Molly, I'm so proud of you for getting up this morning and making it to yoga, even when you didn't really want to go and your husband wanted you to go get breakfast instead. Okay, I know that sounds silly, but I was like so proud of myself because I'm really trying to stick to my plan of moving 6 days a week and lifting more weights, including my body weight, and becoming more flexible and just really taking care of myself. So I was proud of myself for that. And then I was like, okay, I really like that you are being brave and doing this podcast. I love how you are just continuing to do it, even though you have some mean people out there in social media, and know that they're just sad, and you just keep going with a smile on your face. I like how you have been this is literally me today. I had to make my list just like you. So I was like, I like that you've been in such good contact with the kids and reaching out to them. I like that you've been trying to be more romantic with Kevin, and you're trying to be more kissy. I know you don't need to hear this, but this is really what I wrote down. You're trying to be more kissy and affectionate because his love language is touch. I know. My love language isn't touch. My love language is like words of affirmation and gifts. We're all different, but I know my husband's. And so I'm like, okay, you're doing it. You're being more romantic and all that. And he loves that. And it's making a difference. Good job. I like that. Yeah, I just had all these random things. I like that, you're making sure that you see your mom more often. I like that you, I don't even know what the rest of my list was, but because it's in the other room, it's over there by my coffee. I love coffee, by the way. I love that you're only having 2 cups of coffee a day. I actually said that, by the way, because I was doing like 4 or 5 cups a day, wondering why I was jittery and I had heartburn. Too much information. You're welcome. But anyway, just a list of that. You know what I mean? Make a list to yourself. But I was like, I see you. I love you. I know that you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. Oh, my other one was I love that you're meditating and manifesting each day, which has been one of my new habits that is like life-changing. I will do an episode on that. Don't you worry, because I used to think it was woo-woo, and now I know it is magical. And so again, I wouldn't talk about something if I haven't done it, and I've done it and I'm doing it and it's amazing. So wow, that was like a squirrel moment, by the way. Do you ever have that where you're like, squirrel? Okay, so that was one for you. I will hopefully not do many squirrels on this podcast, but I just want to leave you today with that homework assignment. It could be like, your hair looks awesome today. Or it could be like, I love that you're saying no to things that don't bring you joy. I love that you are sticking to your priorities. I love that you are walking 20 minutes a day. I love that you are choosing to walk instead of binge watch shows. I mean, these are more lists to myself, by the way. I love that you are choosing to eat more colorful fruits and vegetables, and that you're really increasing your protein intake. That's another one I wrote to me today. I'm remembering now because I need more protein. Don't we all? And so, and I just love that each day, like that I'm choosing the high road and to be a happy version of myself, the happiest version I could be. So that was my list in a nutshell. I actually just remembered it. But I want to encourage you to notice your words. Notice how you talk to others, by the way. And if you can improve on that, do that. But really, 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 it's so important that we talk to ourselves in a positive, life-giving way, life-breathing way, like positive way and loving way. This is self-love, y'all. Yes, a bubble bath is great. A massage is awesome. A facial is great. Getting a mani-pedi is great. But what's better than all of that is the way we speak to ourselves. That is self-love. So give love to others, but treat yourself like you do others as well. Give yourself the love and kindness, compassion, and all of that good stuff. And all of a sudden, you're going to have more confidence. You're going to be happier. You're going to feel better. Your health is going to improve. Hello, less anxiety and less depression. Who doesn't want that? And so I hope that this podcast episode has spoken to you today, because even just sharing it with you has literally made me again realize how important it is for me to speak better to myself. So thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. I love you. And we have lots more podcasts to come. Keep sharing this, please. We want to reach as many women as we can, so that we can all live our best, most happiest lives. Really, truly. Okay, let's go. I'll see you all in the next episode.